Good morning. It is like 8 in the morning. We are in California in the United States of America, and we are heading from the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains over to the coastal range. That's what's in front of us there. These are all the almond orchards that are blooming around us. Beautiful. And leaving where Olive, my youngest girl, lives, and we are going to drive all the way up to Mount Canocti, the volcano that is around Clear Lake, which is California's 2.5 million year old lake, one of the oldest lakes in North America. It's volcanic, and there are massive amounts of obsidian all around it. I have to go there for the day and do some pruning on a little orchard. Yeah, some springtime stuff, doing some apple seed mission. And after that, we will be so far out in the volcano land that I thought maybe this video could be a stop and gather obsidian. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish driving across this valley. I'm gonna go to work, and then we can play. I will see you the next time this camera turns on, which will be at the base of the volcano.
The coffee's ready if you'll have some. And breakfast should be finished soon. The paper called for sun tomorrow. Looks like rain the whole day through. Ooh.
As you get here, all of these road cuts all along here are loaded with obsidian, huge stripes of black boulders, and it continues like that throughout the entire area. And there's the volcano itself. And there's the lake at the base of the volcano. We're wrapping around the front of it now. There's her slopes coming down to the very road that we're on. That's why all this obsidian is here. And all the other volcanic rock that you're always seeing me find in the area between this and the Cobb Mountain volcanic zone next door. So, I'm off work, and we really can pick from anywhere. There's little strips of public land and stuff around here, and undeveloped areas and hiking spots. And I mostly just want to show you the abundance. Any of these road cuts, they literally have stripes of black running down them. But it's a really busy hour, so we got to kind of pick and choose where we can pull over. But just so you know, that's the setting, is that we are driving. Every road cut is got big boulders of obsidian eroding out of it. So let's go ahead and find our spot. I'm just getting off, and yeah, without any more further ado. So they literally pave the roads with it around here. These are the size of boulders that when they're clearing the fields to put the vineyards in, they have to clear out of the way. It's not super high grade stuff in a lot of these spots. It's kind of grainy. It's got a lot of imperfections to it, but it's beautiful. It is obsidian, and it is everywhere. And that's a boulder, and that's a boulder, and that's a boulder. Somebody broke, probably so that they could transport it. And you see the layers in it there? Gotta be careful when you're pressing into it because it is broken glass. But they're alternating black and gray, like this piece here. And that's a big old piece of volcanic glass. So that is the most common form that's right around in this area. So the ground out here literally just becomes composed of obsidian. You see that? Just the entire ground. Some of these pieces have more gray stripe than other. Now that looks rough, but that's just because it has its coating on the whole outside. But here's a big boulder. You can see the shiny spots there where it's showing through. Look at that size chunk of obsidian. I'm gonna go try and find some bare dirt. See our bucket that we're gonna use. We'll recycle some of these grow buckets. Put one inside the other there. And we'll go ahead and fill that up, and that'll be our take home. You can wander around, you can pick very big boulders or bunches of little ones. Sorry about the traffic noise, but that's kind of what I wanted to show you about these locations. I like that because it has moss on it. But the ground, like I was saying, is 1,000 little pieces of obsidian, big boulders sticking out everywhere. Kind of keeping my eyes open because this is old historic area too. And you never know when you're going to spot a bottle dump while you're out messing around. I kind of want to scoot the leaves aside, but I don't want to slice my hand open. But do you see how much obsidian is here? So like I said, some of them are striped, all different types. And field after field, after mile, different properties around here have built rock walls out of it. See, there's different grades here. I always wanted to slow down and look for the sheens. And when I'm in Davis Creek and places that are solid obsidian like this, there's all different types, but not in one spot. You have to move around to find the different types, you know? So, look at that gray and black. And in stripes is where you'll get your rainbow and sheen. So see the layers in that. Yep. Go ahead and fill up this bucket. So here is a better look at these pieces that we were picking up. And there's all kinds of different patterning going on in there between the gray and the black. And you can see there's the little cracks and fissures all over the surface. They've actually scooped up some rust, and then a lot of these still have their natural surface on there that first cooled against the air. This is a solid black. It looks like, oh, it's just the top of it. Another big old boulder. Yeah, we might just take that too. I know we're filling up quick, but that's how it goes when you're at locations that are just loaded. Again, we are in the California fire zone, so we'll just have to put up with the craziness of it all. that? Oh, it just totally obscured it, but it looked kind of like that. Broken, but with nice distinct Canocti stripes to it. Canocti candy striped obsidian. And all of these are obsidian too. They just have their rough outside on them still. Those little white inclusions are almost snowflake. But yeah. I bet you if you went through one of these piles, you'd find a lot of little types. I guess we can gather some up and wash it, and then I can include some close-ups as we sort through and find the different things going on with it. I'm going to take a bunch of random pieces so that we can maybe discover. At this spot I've usually just looked because there's so many spots and you get kind of overwhelmed. But this is what you got to do. You got to take samples and you got to take them and you got to look at them closer and figure out what's really going on. So grabbed up this gray piece. It's got its rough surface on it all the way around, but I suspect it might have a little bit of silver sheen to it just from the look, so we'll have to cut it or break it again. This entire thing is basically covered in its rough texture. You can only see the shiny silicate inside of it there showing in a couple of spots. And I've scrubbed all these, so a lot of the dirt that you see is kind of welded onto the surface, almost rusted onto the surface. The ground is just absolutely crunchy with obsidian underneath us. See, sometimes it's better under the foliage in these places. Hard to say. Oh, that looks like snowflake. See the big inclusions in there? Yeah. And we can slow down a little bit because I was nervous to still have some hours left in the day to do this with you. I got taken up on the side of the mountain after work. I got to walk llamas up a hand-carved pathway that goes up to the rock faces that face out over the lake. So total private property hike, and that was really cool. So we were a little bit later in the day, but it was worth it. So there's a pile here, of course. By pile I mean exposed, like whatever bulldozing for fires or whatever they did here, development or something in the past, shoved a bunch up above the dirt line. But this whole thing, I promise you, is this solid obsidian. Very little dirt, in fact. So look at this. See how much more gray there is in this one than black, and then the patterning on the side is cool. And in the creeks around here, there's lots of mahogany, so I haven't found the field of big mahogany boulders, but it's here. And that's the type of obsidian that's all red and black usually. Mega piece that we picked up, and this one's been broken on one side so you can actually see into it better and see the patterning as opposed to the cloudy surface of that. So the reason why we are finding these at the base of the volcano, this much obsidian, the reason why you find it by volcanoes is because it's actually a lava. So that's one thing that people skip over in their thinking about it, is it's just a lava flow. So this poured out of a volcano. Gets a little stripes in there. The pure black and the gray. Love the patterning of this stuff. And you can see little bits all through it, so that's actually pumice. So pumice is another type of lava, and the pumice is usually associated with all the little bubbles that got trapped in it. So they're both made, obsidian and pumice, when lava cools extremely quick, when it cools down and doesn't have time for crystal growth. And it's the type of lava. It's actually called felsic lava, which is super high in silicates and other light minerals, and usually found, usually coming out of a rhyolitic volcano like Mount Canocti. So there's different ways that it can cool down quickly by touching water or touching air, but because of that, it cools down fast and forms what we know as obsidian or volcanic glass. And the pumice is a result of when little teeny tiny gas bubbles get trapped all through it, and so it has all those little vesicles. But also, the bits of pumice and basically ash and other debris are all stuck through this particular type of obsidian that comes from Mount Canocti. You can see all the actual bits of it in there. But look at the flow. You can tell that it was hot, running liquid, and it just froze like that, like taffy. Yeah, this stuff has some cool stripes running through it. So we're gonna put this in there. All these old buckets everywhere. There's like 100 buckets and straps and scraps. Chunks of toilet. It's those in-between zones though, so that's what you'd expect. Hot bucket? Oh, you're not much of a bucket anymore. Otherwise you could come home with me. Ooh, yeah, that's one of the spots. See, let's do a little bottle digging while we're here. And that could have been cool. Didn't look super old. Oh, and that has a lid on it. Look. Aren't those just awesome? So, and you can see that's all sitting. Oh, look at that one. Look at the tiny stripes in it. See that? Oh, that's a nice piece. We'll go ahead and grab that. Order enamel wares. Yeah, so just even in this one spot, there's bound to be different, oh, that's cool. An old insulator. There's bound to be different obsidian types, species. Set that up here on this. It's a burl. It's a cool burl too. But yeah, we'll haul that out of here. Crawl back out of this weird spot. More metal, more obsidian. It just kind of goes like that. Twisted metal and obsidian off into the distance. Here's our bucket. It's clear back there. That's the thing with bucket. This guy. Yeah. And that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, wow. So, let's see what this one is. Every boulder's different. I think that's good enough. That definitely has some different stripes going on with it. The patterning in this one is pretty cool. It actually went into an almost snowflakey pattern. You can see there is some crystal growth. So some areas of it almost had bubbles, or at least inclusions, but look at the feather pattern of the whole thing. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So that's part of the reason why we're looking through all of these different types of obsidian over and over and over, is because other regions where I have been that have mountains full of obsidian and volcanic glass like this often have so many different types and variances, and so to find the rainbow or to find the sheen, you can go miles and miles and miles over terrain that's totally loaded up with obsidian, finding different types, but not necessarily the kind that you're looking for. So there's a lot of different variances, is all I'm saying. And you couldn't look at one particular patch of ground and say, this is all the type of obsidian that came out of this volcano. You'd have to just keep searching and searching. So just even here, 5 feet away from each other, you have stripes and feathery, plumy, different patterns going on in it. So many different things that could make it all change. So many different variables. Kind of black and peppered with the white inclusions, kind of like in the stripies. You see how much of this there is just even on the surface. Oh, that's a boulder. These are just big boulders. Oh, yeah. Boulder, boulder, boulder. Oh, those are massive. Those are, the ground is literally just obsidian. Like you can't, it's just boulder after boulder. Look at these. See them off in the distance. That's all obsidian that you're looking at. This one has red down in it. That's weird. Literally. Gotta be careful. Sharp is loud. That's obsidian boulder. Everything that you see, this is a solid knob of obsidian. So, yeah, this is why I get overwhelmed. Where would you start? You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna fill up these 2 buckets and call that good enough. And over here I see that it's a lot of this very black, which is nice. More pure, definitely more arrowhead like stuff, but not very many of the stripes. Oh, gonna slow way down. We're just gonna stop and we're gonna say thank you. Thank you. The end of a bunch of long days. I haven't been home for days, and then I went to work and I was just trying to make a fun video at the end of it. Okay, we're not gonna pry with our bare hands on big pieces of broken glass anymore. But you'll have to believe me, a lot of these are big boulders. Thank you for not slicing my hand wide open. Oh man, beautiful, right? Beautiful. Looking for different sheens and shines in it. But yeah, beautiful stuff. My hand actually hurts just from the rock breaking, let alone the fact that that could have sliced me wide open. Look at this one. Oh, wow. With the moss growing on it. Jeez. Boom. Okay. We're out here in these gnomey black woods, man. That's the only thing about exploring around Canocti is be respectful, for sure. Because the woods out here have a lot of presence to them. A lot of energy. They have their own mood. Oh, look at these. Beautiful. And I do find lots of mahogany over on the Kelseyville side of this volcano. So there is the red and black obsidian coming out of that side. So it just goes to show you that there was a bunch of different types of silicate rich lava flows that came out and cooled quickly from this volcano. Also makes me wonder if the quick cooling of it was from air or had anything to do with the lake at the base of it, because Clear Lake is one of California and the West Coast's oldest only natural lakes. A lot of our lakes are built by dams, and so they're actually reservoirs. But Clear Lake is also phenomenal because it's 2.5 million years old, which puts it as one of the oldest bodies of water in North America. As old as any of them lost up in the deeps of Canada or anything like that. So people often overlook that. And it hasn't always been in the exact same place. It's had different forms of itself as it kind of moved around in the general footprint that it is now. Because of massive landslides, it actually once ran out towards the watershed of the Russian River and ran out to the ocean that way. But because of a massive prehistoric landslide, the lake shifted its course and now it flows out to the Central Valley of California and joins the Carquinez Straits eventually, and then out through the Golden Gate that way. But that body of water has been by the base of this volcano this entire time, so it makes you wonder if maybe the water had something to do with these chunks of lava flow that got cooled down quickly and turned into obsidian. Yep. It's getting down to the witching hour here. I think we'll gather our goods and then maybe make our way out of these hills. Here's another nice stripe. It's still got rough on it. Not gonna pull on that. Look at that. The moss here interplaying with the obsidian. Where's our bucket? A lot of little layers going on in there. There's our other bucket. That bucket. Okay. Yeah. A little bit less spooky out here than in there. Ooh, look at that for a piece of stock. See the lines in it. It's not broken anywhere yet, but dang. Or that one. Look at the size of these chunks of steel out here though too. That's a wagon wheel. Come on. Okay, I was able to just fit it all into one bucket and consolidate it. I think I might just do that because hopefully we'll be coming by here again in life. We got to wander all throughout everywhere. And we'll just spend a little more time. There's a couple more cool pieces. We'll just soak these, do some close-ups. Yep. This chunk is probably our chunk of the day. Actually grabbed it right near the end here as we're about to wrap up. And you could almost go back to that area and just try and gather a bunch of this. I gotta be careful as I'm one-handedly turning this huge chunk of broken glass here. But let's zoom in a little. And look at those layers, just to appreciate it. I think they all have super fine layers when you zoom in, but I think this piece is probably the best example. And mostly just because that rough surface is busted off of it most of the way around. So with a few slices, any of these could really be beautiful examples of Canocti volcanic glass. It's about a 5.5 is what Obsidian ranges between 5 and 5.5 on the Mohs hardness scale. So it's one of the softer stones that you will cut and work with, although one of the trickier ones to get a fine glass-like polish on. But look at that beautiful specimen. Okay, we have a little ways to climb anyways, and some of these specimens are just beautiful. Okay. I think I'm a pretty happy camper with that load. Randos. Again, it kind of has a sheen to it though. I think that'll be it. So let's go home. Let's go ahead and go home, clean these up, and we'll do an actual cleanup at this video. I probably inserted a couple, but and go ahead and take a close look at all this. I got about an hour drive ahead of me, so I will see you there. Snagged up a bunch of these little pieces because little samples, of course, always have. You can get all the different patterns, you know, without hauling home one big chunk of a specific pattern. So I grabbed up a bunch of these. We don't need to look at everyone up close, but many different variances of the gray and black. Just trying to get you the close-ups because the GoPro doesn't always do the best job of that, and the light while we were out there was not the best. It is the wet winter time here in the western part of the United States. There's the outside, there's the inside. Yep. So we're back here, but just to say goodbye and thank you for joining me again on another quest for details. And hopefully I'll see you at the next location. You're totally invited. And until then, please take care of yourselves, and if you get the chance, take care of each other.
The paper called for sun tomorrow.